I love London. London's an amazing city, but being a big city is hard to find nature. A lot of people just living in this concrete jungle. People's behavior is influenced by their surroundings.
I got a call from like a neighbor who is living just Kerry. Yeah, she's living on the ground floor, and she saw these guys coming and cutting down the tree. And,
Starting to cut, preparing
they
to cut.
didn't tell us about it, so
No.
she called me. I came down, and then I started calling everyone.
Yeah.
And the guys didn't want us to come in, of course, and they were
Because of health
They
and
were doing-
safety, they'd already
yes.
put the cordon around.
Then Tareshpari she lay down.
Lay down on the...
Asha, I will do whatever.
She lay down in front of the machines and inside the cordon. So these contractors are going crazy because of health and safety. So we had to
So they
calm
stopped.
everyone down, call the council.
Yes, and they finally.
And then it turned out that they had been given an instruction to cut down trees in a different park.
Yes, so
They had made a mistake, and if we hadn't been watching, they'd have cut those 2 trees down.
I moved into London in 2007. I moved in here in 2013. This is the time when I learned actually what meat gardens are, because it's such a little space which is in between a block of flats and it's in between bigger green areas.
Every morning when I wake up, the first thing I do is I come to the balcony and I look at the view even before I go and have a shower. I think I must have been living here for 2 weeks maybe, when I saw this tree in the park with scaffolding around it. I was curious immediately. And then I saw this lady running across the garden and the park, and then standing below this tree, shouting at these men who had climbed the scaffolding. And I could see there was a real commotion. Very quickly got dressed, ran downstairs. And basically this woman was shouting at the people who had climbed the scaffolding around the tree. And she was shouting, if you don't come down, I'm going to call the police. Come down right now. So the workmen were shouting at her, she was shouting at them. And then in the end, she said, like, I'm going to call the council, I'm going to call the council. Who told you to come here? And so the men on the scaffolding took out their phones, they called someone in the council, handed the phone to her. She shouted down the phone, handed the phone back to them, and the council obviously told them, come down. So they came down and said, right, that's it, we're closed for the day, we're not going to do anything with this tree. And they left. And I just thought, I said to her, my God, you are my hero. That really is how Friends of Meath Garden started. This tree is called a native black poplar, and it's one of the most endangered trees in all of the UK. They think about 9,000 of these trees left in the whole of the UK. Of those 9,000 individuals, less than 10% are female. That means that this species is in real danger in the UK. The tree is so important to us. It's by far the oldest tree in the park.
We had a few meetings with the council. We managed to stop the council from cutting down the trees, from pollarding them. It was too late for some of the trees, but many of them were saved. After that, people were so happy about it. We could feel this energy in the air. The first time when we tried to organize the volunteering event, we decided to plant 100 trees. We received these trees from a company. There was this energy within people. They wanted to do something, and they were angry with all these trees which died. And we managed to transform this energy into something positive. The positive thing was this first event. And the event was so successful. Even when I think about it, I get emotional almost, because people brought their children and their friends, and everyone got their own tree, and there were many people. All these trees actually now, they are quite big, and still I can see and I know that some children, they come there, or the whole families, they come and they introduce their friends to their tree, and the trees have names. This was like very successful project which created this sense of belonging, sense of owning the space. This first successful event started this huge amount of volunteering events, and it created the platform where people started to communicate, people started to meet. We would first have event, and then we would go to the pub. The social aspect was very important for people.
There's this thing called localism, where local communities come together to say, look, we are going to shape how our local environment is. We're not going to leave it in the hands of big government to just decide how our streets and our urban spaces should be designed. We are going to participate in the design of our local spaces so that they're good for our health, for our well-being, and for our community. Friends of Meath Gardens is very much part of that movement. We live in Bethnal Green. It's a very ethnically mixed area, a whole mixture of different social classes, different ethnicities. We've all come together. The thing that for me that is really powerful about Meath Gardens is this is local people coming together saying, we want to have a say in how Bethnal Green should look. It's very sad because it was a beech tree, which is native, and it would have been a very beautiful tree, but it's died. You can see that tree over there. It's surviving, but it's not doing well. And I think probably in the winter we're going to move that tree. If we don't move it, it's going to die. This one here is just about surviving, but it's not happy. So I think this coming winter we're going to move this tree too, plant it somewhere else in the park. Otherwise, it'll definitely die. Look at all the rubbish everywhere. Oh, terrible. This is our tool shed. It's a shipping container that was given to us by the council, and they've given us a lot of tools. But we've also gotten lots of tools from various companies and people who donate. So what do we need? Probably take a wheelbarrow. Good. Rubbish everywhere.
Yeah, what's the plan with it?
As we collect all the rubbish, let's pile it up. We just pile it up by the water tap over there.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's tons of rubbish, loads of rubbish around here, and you've got some litter pickers and bags, so you don't have to use your hands. We didn't like the way that the council was managing the park, one of neglect, and we decided that we wanted the park to look different because it was important to us. We proposed a management plan that would, along the lines of making the park better for biodiversity and better for people. And we basically told the council, this is how we want Meath Gardens to look. We will raise the money to buy trees, plant trees, and maintain the garden. All you need to do is agree for us to do this, and then do things like cutting the grass and doing some tree maintenance.
They've got like potatoes in the front garden, and like I think these are peas or something. Mm-hmm. Here. Just
It looks great.
it was brilliant. I thought knock on their door and get them. Huh?
Should we plant it?
It's Michael.
Sorry guys.
Hi. Yes.
Really participate. I'm supporting this.
Are you going to join now?
Yes.
Let's take a picture. One of the aims we have is not just to make the garden nicer for people, but also to make it a healthier place for people and biodiversity. When you have a place where butterflies, birds, bats, insects thrive, that environment is healthy.
So this is first of our awards, which we received in 2018, and it's called the Community Tree Award. Everyone calls it a tree Oscar. It's from the Forestry Commission. We received it because we planted 100 trees here in Mead Gardens with the community. So these awards are from the same year, from 2018. They are from Tower Hamlets. We received the Award of Excellence for Community Engagement and Participation, and the Special Contribution towards London in Bloom and Green Flag. I believe that healthy communities rely on healthy biodiversity, on healthy environment around them. And that's why bringing the healthy ecosystems into Mead Gardens also creates this, the healthy community which is surrounding it. On this small scale, if we can create it and if people remember how the healthy nature looks like, how the healthy ecosystem looks like, it can go on to much larger scale.
Let me help you, Elena. Yeah, it's really difficult. There are lots and lots of parks in Tower Hamlets, and the council has limited resources, so they tend to focus their efforts on Victoria Park and Mile End Parks, which are two other parks, and the other parks get quite neglected. Meath Gardens doesn't get priority from the council because of limited resources. So it's really up to us as the volunteers to maintain these places. And this flower bed is the very first thing you see when you walk through the arch. To maintain a flower bed, you want to take away the grasses, which are competition for the flowers. Because of lack of maintenance, all the grass has grown into the flower bed and is choking out the plants. It's amazing, all of a sudden you can see the flower bed has reappeared. Very satisfying. One of the things that we talk about in Friends of Meath Gardens is about spreading the green in Meath Gardens beyond the park into the rest of the neighbourhood. We've now started to work with other friends groups in other parts of London because we believe that what we have been able to achieve should be replicated in other parts. Those days of being passive and just accepting whatever is done in the neighbourhood, I think those days should be over. And we should all play a role in making London a better city to live in. In an age where nature is being destroyed, we're facing a biodiversity crisis, climate change is changing our prospects for survival on Earth. Places like Meath Gardens, these oases of green within the city, are incredibly important.
Yeah. That's the first exercise. Second exercise, push-ups. 10 to 15 push-ups, depending on how easy you find push-ups. Either full ones on the floor or you can do it on a pole. Yeah, I don't mind.
My name is Danny. I'm a personal trainer and a dancer actually, and I run fitness classes in Meath Gardens in this gym over here and on the grass sometimes and around. And we just finished a workout with a group of lovely girls who are here today. I've probably lived here since, I think it's 10 years now actually, so quite a long time. This park definitely has been the reason why I chose to live here actually, because I think it's so beautiful and it's lovely having this park on your doorstep. It was a real saviour during lockdown actually, because at the time I was a dancer teaching dance classes and we used the park every week for dance classes. And then after that, when I got into the fitness, then it became the hub where we do all our fitness classes. And yeah, it's great. I have local people, but I also have other people from around London that come to the classes, just especially in Meath Gardens. And even just looking out my window and seeing the park, it just makes you feel happier, because you don't feel like you're in London, in the centre of London. You feel like you're in a nice, quiet, you know, well, not quiet, you can hear a lot of sound, but a nice sort of outdoor natural area. So yeah, it makes a big difference to my life.
Branch fell from the ailanthus tree, so it's a tree of heaven, and it fell down and actually destroyed our black poplar tree, which we planted with the community. Oh no. We separate ourselves from nature. We are part of it, we are nature. If we destroyed ourselves, nature, which we are part of, then we will stop to exist.